I mean, there are probably some guys in Greece, some Greek guys. Nobody's Greek here that's offended. There's probably some Greek guys that have got hair coming out, their eyeballs, But for most people who grow mustaches, there's always an area where there just aren't any hair follicles.
I have to plead that my eyesight is not as good as yours. When you're texturing that beard, it's largely using your X-Acto knife and just sort of.
Well, in this case, I was using this toothpick, but it could be the X-Acto knife.
I thought you were using a knife.
I'm teasing it out just very carefully, just creating little ruts that I'm overlapping, and I'm trying to twist them a little bit so they're not just all like straight lines.
But it's almost like a peppering rather than a.
Yeah. It's just this kind of thing. Yeah.
He looks Amish now without the mustache.
Yeah, I know. He needs to. I need to do something with that mustache. That mustache that's going to be fun.
He was the Amish general, right?
The Amish general. Yeah, he does look Amish. That would change.
The Amish don't have it usually that well trimmed.
Yeah, theirs is just basically unkempt.
Yeah. Don't touch the green.
Don't touch the green. Yeah. don't cross the streams. All right. Okay, let's see. Let's see how I did here. I have an optivisor, which I would probably use at this stage, just to get this mustache
I would hope
right.
so.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if that's pronounced enough, but that's going to be in the ballpark anyway. The other thing is very important that you get the top part of the mustache to look like it's coming out of the skin. You can have the bottom part hanging free because that does hang free when you have a thick mustache, but the top part, that part has to be out of the skin. So you have to have, you have to make sure that you've got some feathering in that area. Okay, I'm going to do this a little quickly here, but hopefully I can give you an idea. Time to use the knife a little bit. Got a little folding and kind of twisting and curling of that mustache. It's one of the cool features. One of the sort of cheats to doing Civil War figures is that their facial hair is so big a part of their appearance that you get the facial hair right, it doesn't really matter what you got underneath it. Like Robert E. Lee, any guy you put in a Confederate uniform with a gray beard and mustache, it's Robert E. Lee. He could look like George Carlin underneath it.
Good.
I didn't know George Carlin looked like so much like Robert E. Lee. They all have gray beards. Well, this is...
How much time does it usually take for you to finish a figure entirely?
About painting and sculpting, usually somewhere between 30 and 35 hours.
Wow.
And it's just a matter of how long it takes me to find that time. Used to be that I could find 30 hours to do a model in about 24 hours. Jim remembers those times.
Sculpts it on what, Friday and paint it up by Monday?
That's only a slight exaggeration. It might not be an exaggeration at all in some cases, actually.
Back in the 80s.
Are you able to sit down and work 15, 20 minutes at a time, or do you have to work in longer time segments?
Well, now that I'm using an optivisor, as we get older, our eyesight deteriorates. It's one of those sucky things about getting older. It was a lot. Most of the models I did when I was younger, there we go. That's pretty close. Pass this around so I'm not the only one getting the love here. Yeah, that needs to be played around with a little more. It's not the way not perfect, but get an idea. Oh, I almost touched the green. There we go. Dealing with optivisors with a sweaty band, and I use my glasses with an optivisor over the top of it. and sitting up there working like that, it's not as easy to sit for hours and hours and hours. It's not as comfortable. Plus, because I'm not producing as much anymore, and I know exactly the way I want everything to look. I don't always get each of those little things accomplished quite as quickly as I used to when I was doing it all the time. It's like a golfer. The more golf you play, the better you get theoretically, anyway.
Have you tried the little clip-on?
I have a pair of those.
I don't think it's just that. I think it's just a combination of a lot of things. Really, it has to do with motivation too. When I was younger, I had so many things I wanted to do, but I was so prolific, I did all those things. And now I'm kind of at a point where I'm struggling to find new things that I'm just as passionate about as the stuff I was, when I was doing the Victorian stuff and the Civil War stuff and all that. I'm finding new subjects, but I don't come up with ideas that are really, really exciting and motivating. Because when you're really excited and motivated to do something, you can find time to do that. When you're really, really into something, it's amazing how much time you can find. When you're not, it's amazing how many other things you have to do before you can do that. It's like my wife. Well, we need a new ceiling fan. I'm going to get to it, honey. Yeah, that's what you said about 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Honeydews.
I find myself that I have to model in segments of an hour or a couple hours rather than just 15 or 20 minutes. I can't just sit down and do something and walk away from it. I have to get involved.
Yeah, I find that if you get in the habit of devoting a certain amount of your time routinely to something, it's easy to maintain that. Once you get out of the habit of devoting that much time, it's hard to get back into that habit. It's just, as we get older, we get more and more addicted to routine, and it's harder to break routines once you get into them. So, anyway, that's about.